Rock and roll collectibles. We've all seen the television spots or heard the stories about, a guitar owned by Elvis Presley selling for a certain amount. And it's always kind of fascinating that people get their hands on these things and that people pay for them. And I have a gentleman on the line with me right now who does this for a living. His name is Bobby Livingston, and he is with rnrauction.com. Bobby, thanks for joining us.
Oh, really great to be there.
Well, listen to me. This is very cool stuff. I've seen your website. I've seen some of the stuff you have. Everything from pictures that I've never seen before to, like I say, guitars and everything else in between. How do you get your hands on stuff like this?
Well, we've been doing this every month, holding an autograph auction for 30 years. So we've got hundreds of suppliers of people around the world that send us really neat things. The one thing about us, though, is everything we sell is absolutely authentic, and we do a lot of hard work to make sure everything we sell has been looked at by world-class experts as well as the ones we have in-house. One of the big things you have when you buy rock and roll, things like off of eBay or other places, that most of the stuff is fake.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you authenticate it? How do you do that?
Well, we've seen millions of autographs in 30 years because we sell about 1,500 to 2,000 autographs every month, so that adds up. And so we've seen every fake, every forgery, print, secretarial, and the real stuff. So when you see a signed Beatles album or a signed Beatles picture, the first thing is it's probably fake. But as you look into it, we have the know-how to tell that it's real or not.
Excellent. Okay, so what's the most popular thing? I guess what's the most popular autograph?
Well, the most popular autograph is probably the Beatles, a complete set. I mean, Bob Dylan is a great one, very popular. He's still living, but he doesn't sign a lot. He's tough to get out there. So Dylan, and then of course Jimi Hendrix stuff is really desirable, and Janis Joplin. The icons. The icons of the 20th century music, really are real popular.
Okay, now some of the stuff you have these autographs on, for example, there was some lyric corrections to a Johnny Cash lyric of City Jail. Does that add to the value when it's on stuff like that?
It does, absolutely, because when you have a songwriter as great as Johnny Cash annotating his lyrics, it adds an incredible amount of historical significance and insight into the artist. So those things, go up in price, and they're great to have. We've had handwritten lyrics from Bob Dylan that have gone for astronomical prices. So you can imagine, if when you see something like Johnny Cash and he annotates lyrics, man, it's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Now, another one that really caught my eye was a check that John Lennon and Paul McCartney signed, I guess, back in 77, 78, something like that.
Yeah, you got to remember, they, even though they broke up, they were business partners in their songwriting and publishing company, so they had to pay the bills. And so occasionally we get these really great, cool checks with big fat signatures from John Lennon and Paul McCartney, as the songwriting team. So they're really fun to get and collect them. We also have we have the personal checks of George Harrison and Ringo sometimes too, and Lennon and McCartney by themselves. So there's a lot of people that collect checks because one, they usually have the name of the person printed on it, so it makes a neat presentation. But also the authenticity issues, you just don't have as much question about them because here's their actual checking account with their signature and the bank cancellation marks on them.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, is there anything that comes across your desk that you say, "Oh man, I got to have this," and you buy it yourself?
I do see things come across my desk that blow my mind. I generally don't get into the bidding only because tomorrow something else comes across that's even cooler. So I get to hang on to it for a couple of weeks before we sell it. But this month we have a Janis Joplin signature that is just unbelievably gigantic. I just never seen something as big as that. And her signature is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's rare to begin with because, as you remember, she was barely famous for 2 or 3 years. So there's not a lot of signed material from her. But when you see an example like this, it's just like, wow, cool.
Now, is there an opening bid on something like that? And what do you expect it will go for?
Well, that's currently at $932. When the auction ends next week, I expect it to be 2 or 3 times that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's that special.
What's the most expensive thing you ever sold?
We sold we sell a lot of historical stuff. So we sold some things from the Alamo that went for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
But the thing that popped into my mind that went for a lot of money, over $20,000, is we had the actual magazine that. When John Lennon said the Beatles were bigger than Jesus, that particular magazine, he autographed it for the publisher of that magazine, and he signed it. He made a little inscription, but he signed it J.C. Lennon. So he was still punning, because of course his middle name was Winston. So,
Right.
but he put J.C. Lennon
Wow.
and signed it, which I thought was wow, man. In the middle,
Yeah.
they're burning your records. The world's going crazy, and you're making a joke, man. That's so cool of Lennon.
That is very cool. That is very cool. Now, let me ask you this. If people want to get involved in this, would they just go to the website, register?
It's rrauction.com. That's just 2 R's and auction.com. And you can register for free, and we'll send you a catalog. We got lots of great Canadian customers that buy from us every month.
Right.
So we're located in New Hampshire. So
Okay.
we're big Bruins fans. I know that might be a
No, that's okay. Hey,
difficult thing for you guys.
they're all Canadians on the team anyway. Come on. Bobby Orr is from just across the lake from us here. So there you
fantastic. So good.
go. Let me ask you one more question. Any advice to somebody wanting to get in on this kind of stuff? Any kind of advice as far as bidding goes or anything like that?
Well, again, I think the most important thing, when you buy from us, it's been vetted and it's authentic. But if you see stuff out there that's not from us, or you want our auction to take a look at the items that you've purchased, we'll do that for you free. So make sure you always show autographs to an expert before you purchase them. And there's people out there like PSA DNA. There's companies that do it. They cost about $7 or $10 for a quick review, and we recommend you do that. Or if you contact us, we'll do it for free.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Bobby Livingston of rnrauction.com. Man, they've got the best collectibles you can imagine from all really genres, but rock and roll especially. Thank you, Bobby, for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.